Savannah from Bright Premier Human Innovation. We've secured a position for you. Just say yes or no. Thank you. Yes, because that's how you get a job. Yeah, you get an unsolicited text message from some number, and you just have to reply yes or no. That's totally how you get a job. Hello, friends. Welcome back to the bench. Our patient today is this beautiful Gigabyte GA Z170X Gaming 7. Very nice one. Not a lot of IOs, but a lot of SATA. 2 M.2. There is no, there's no network adapter or small PCI Express for the network adapter, but that's fine. It has the standard 4-pin connection or 8-pin connector for VCORE. So probably it won't support like very high-end CPU, but it's a pretty nice one. And today is day 3 of finding a job. It is not looking good. And I know what you're gonna say. How much can you tell after just 2 days? And that's fair point. There's probably not much you should be able to tell after 2 days, and don't draw too many conclusions just after 2 days. But what I can do is compare first 2 days to first 2 days 3 years ago. 3 years ago, that doesn't seem like that long, but since then the AI boom happened, right? So after 2 days, I got not a single phone call. 3 years ago, I was bombarded with phone calls. And did I complain about them? Of course I did, because every single one was just, some recruiter just trying to, write notes on your resume and like put you on the right pile, right, for processing and stuff. So yeah, that was annoying having this many phone calls, and pretty much every single one is pretty much the same, right? Those initial phone calls, not even with the companies, but with the recruiters, right? So yeah, that was annoying, but at least that gave me this illusion that stuff is happening, right? It was a little more lively. Now, I assume everything goes through the neural networks that decide whether I'm a good fit or not. So no one really wants to do their job anymore. Like recruiters, they just want the neural networks to do their job for them. Right. Well, nothing wrong with that. The automation is a thing that's been happening for the past 100 years, and a lot of jobs that existed 100 years ago don't exist at all nowadays, and even jobs 2 decades ago that existed don't exist anymore. So it's kind of a tough time now to find to look for a job, and let alone to find a job, which I kind of expected. But on top of that, yesterday I applied to the remainder of the jobs that I would consider myself a fit, or at least potential fit, and that's it. No more jobs. So looks like my next job is not even posted yet. Because now I guess I have to wait for more jobs to be posted. So I don't know, that 3-month period that I kind of estimated, that it cannot take more than 3 months, looks like I'll be happy, or I'll be lucky to actually get a job after 3 months of search. Not looking great at all. But with that, as I said, after 2 days, it's kind of, let's not jump too far ahead. but it is hard to stay motivated. I definitely understand all those unhinged TikTok videos now, because yeah, it is extremely hard to stay motivated with the market being as it is now. But let's just quickly review what happened since yesterday, or what happened yesterday. So I got a reply from that company that I told you about, that when I inquired about the code sample, and I just got the, you know, thank you. I'll forward this to the team, and we might contact you in a couple of days or something like that. So kind of standard. Well, that's at the moment, that is my only my only lead at the moment, because at least I get some response from them, some inquiry. Um, the other one that I recorded a video for, nothing from there, but I assume it's gonna take a few days. I don't know how long they've been searching for the candidates, so who knows? And that is pretty much it. Although, let me show you something. So I got this text message. Savannah from Bright Premier Human Innovation. We've secured a position for you. Just say yes or no. Thank you. Yes, because that's how you get a job. Yeah, you get an unsolicited text message from some number, and you just have to reply yes or no. That's totally how you get a job. And this is actually very sad, and I've experienced that in the past. When you the predatory tactics, or not even tactics, the predatory companies, scammers, basically taking advantage of people in desperate need of a job, and doing this. You know, if there's anything more despicable, well, I can't think of anything more despicable than this. You know, here you have a candidate, a person that perhaps been looking for a job for months. So obviously they're going to be vulnerable to these kind of attacks, and they take advantage of that. Absolutely despicable, but what are you gonna do? It's that's what it looks like nowadays. Only scammers are making money. Is it completely twisted or broken? This probably won't work. Oh, we got something. Is it gonna break? It might. So now we have to live with AI, and obviously it's everywhere now. So on LinkedIn, you want to make a post, there's an AI that can post for you. I don't know what the purpose would be for the AI to write my post, but it's an option now. You don't even have to post anymore. You don't even have to write anymore. You don't have to review resumes of anyone. You let the neural network do it. Of course it broke. Of course it broke. And this is the future we're creating for ourselves now. That is the danger of AI. If I haven't said that before, and yes, I have said that before. The danger of AI is people using it, people relying on it too much. So yeah, unfortunately, the job market is indeed a little bit screwed up. Some positions are like completely ridiculous. like senior engineer, $75,000 a year. I don't know, that's kind of a not very motivating. And it's not even about, you know, my needs, like, yeah, I need 150 or $130,000 a year, otherwise I'm not gonna survive. It's not just that. I mean, it's not that at all. You know, I could work for 75K, but if that was a work adequate to that compensation, right? Working as a senior engineer for 75K, that's a, I don't know, maybe some companies sometimes don't realize what senior engineering is about and what it entails and what a commitment it is. So they don't actually look for a senior engineer. They just want an, you know, someone within that price bracket and that can do the job. And yeah, I even apply to those. Well, to those now for like when it says 75, up to 75. You know, I don't want to waste their time. I don't want to waste my own time. Even if you give me an offer for 75, I don't think I would take it. Again, it would depend on what it is, how many hours, whether it's contract or full-time. Well, benefits, that would also be beneficial, or that would also be a factor. But I prefer to wait. At least I have an ability right now to wait, to see what future brings. I'm still far from losing, you know, losing hope or anything like that. I understand this will take a while. It has to. No way around it. Alright, this one has a nice power button on the board, which is pretty cool. Let me show it to you. And instead of the LEDs for memory and CPU and VGA, we have a little display. So that I expect, if everything is good, this will show FF. Or 00, well, hard to say. If it starts showing some stuff, I'll look for a explanation of those codes. But first, let's put on the CPU. The chance of this working are very slim. The one pin that was broken, I checked, that was VCORE, so this shouldn't be an issue. But the pin that I just broke now, I don't know what it is, but I guess we're just gonna find out. Well, on this board, I wouldn't mind replacing the CPU socket. But lately I haven't had much success with that, and each socket is about 30 bucks. I'm not really in the position right now to be doing repairs like that. And that's mainly because I don't have the proper equipment to do that. And no, I'm not gonna buy any. Thank God I did not, because I was going to buy a BGA rework station. Well, luckily I didn't. Because it's a few $100. Actually, for a good one, you need like $1,200 for an actual professional one. Okay, nothing is lighting up. we have codes, and we have code 32. 50, 35, 62, 62, or is it B2? And it turned off. And it's rebooting now. So let me show you what we say over here. So it's at A6, or is it AB? That might be AB. And the CPU is heating up. Is AC a good? Is AC good or AB good or not? Probably no. I would guess no. But let's see if we can find the codes. Okay, I have a list of codes now. So let's see what we can find out. Let me move this here and let's observe. Could be the memory. I would expect that CPU is not gonna work because of the socket. But let's see. Again, the list is huge because every code kind of means, you know, initialization of this, initialization of that. B2 99 I would say is good. A6 or AB. Okay, let's check. So it's either AB or A6. I think it's B. Error codes. Okay, there's no code starting with A, so maybe it's not the error code. So we have AB, wait user command in BIOS setup. Huh. So did it start? Did it boot into BIOS? Let's find out. That would be very surprising if this actually booted. I would be surprised, but I like being surprised that way. It's alive. No way. Well, one of those pins is definitely VCORE. Oh, it's a nice BIOS. One pin is definitely VCORE. Let's see, BIOS version. B clock. We have 100 megahertz and 3.7 gig on CPU frequency. Memory frequency 2100. Total memory size 8 gigs. CPU temperature 41 degrees. And VCORE is at 1.14 volts. That is a very nice surprise. It does work. Now I assume that if I run it, if I boot it to Windows, it will be having some issues. That would be my guess, because I mean it's not for sure, but just one pin missing, right? In this case on VCORE, and who knows that other pins. Let's actually even check that. So I checked, this one was here. It was this one, which is VCORE, and underneath, oh, that's ground, okay. And VCORE, and ground, and VCORE, and ground, okay. So looks like this whole line here is VCore and ground. That's why it's working. But now we are missing at least one ground and at least one VCore. That's why the CPU is starting and it's working fine, at least in the BIOS, because we don't have any crucial connections missing, like in the last one, which was like some kind of TX signal, so some kind of data or clock. Yeah, RX, TX. Yeah, one of them is clock, one of them is data. So one of the crucial pins. But this one doesn't have a crucial pin bent or missing. So that's why it works. But once we start pushing full energy into the CPU, and probably not this one because this is i3 6th generation. What is it? Maybe 30 watts, 40 max. Yeah, probably somewhere around 30 watts. But if we connected i9 over here or a i7, it would require, I don't know, maybe 60, 70, even more watts of power, which means that one single ground connection, that one single VCore connection can make all the difference. So this would not be safe to use as a power user, and definitely not to be used as a, what do you call it, on the high-end CPUs. But I'm pretty sure that on this CPU it might work. It might work without the socket replacement. But this is definitely a candidate for socket replacement because it's awesome board. We have only one full-size PCI Express and two half-size. Are they both? No, one half-size and one quarter-size. Okay, which means we can connect, most the GPUs that I use, they are all half-size, right? X8. X16, that would be, like really high-end GPU. So you can connect only one of these over here, but you can connect three relatively high-end GPUs. The chipset, the PCH, warmed up nicely. That's good. VCore is cold. VCore is completely cold. But we have pretty nice heat sinks on VCore. We have digital output. We have DisplayPort and HDMI on the display adapter. There is a PS2 connector for the mouse/keyboard. I was thinking probably this is targeted to the users that for some reason want to use the PS2 port, some high-end mouse, or maybe high-end keyboard, or both. And I know what you're gonna say. You can just get the converter, the USB to PS converter. But if you're a power user and you have some high-end mouse, you don't want a tiny converter to convert PS to USB, because there's going to be slight delay, there's going to be slight efficiency impact, right? Because it needs to be converted. I doubt I would have noticed the difference, but if you're a gamer, like serious gamer, then you probably notice those milliseconds of delays and stuff. I would expect. So this is dedicated to gamers. That's why it says G1 Gaming. This is Gaming 7. I don't have the board view. Actually, technically I do, but it's in PDF. I don't know why anyone publishes the board view as a PDF. It doesn't really give me anything. I mean, it gives me the layout so I can identify components, but which component is connected where, the board view in PDF is not going to give me that. So it's kind of useless. But on top of that, I do have a schematic for this board. But then again, do I need schematic for the boards? Not really. They are all built pretty much the same. Schematic only comes in handy when there's a very subtle, weird issue, perhaps with power or something, and you just have to see on the schematic how it is controlled, right? It's a lot easier than reverse engineering from the board view to schematic, which is also possible. You can still do that. It's not a huge deal. It's time consuming. It's a very tedious process, but it can be done. So board view alone is a lot, but it saves you, some time if you do have a schematic. But very rarely I need a schematic for this. For laptops, yes, for laptops it gives me a lot. Like for this one, it's a Surface Pro 5. I do have a board view but no schematic, and sometimes I'm kind of stumped. Like how does this power rail actually work? What's the control chip on it? Or on schematics you also have, other than the actual schematic of the electrical schematic, you also get diagrams, you get power states, block diagrams, so you know which thing is talking to which thing, what is the process. Okay, my microphone died. I was kind of expecting that. That's why I was looking at the thing, the input level. I have to recharge all the batteries, but these are fully recharged. So with this one, we do have our display, which not only tells us which stage, which point of the sequence, which stage of the sequence we have an issue on, but also I would probably have to record it to just kind of review all the codes that are changing. So the entire sequence is displayed on this little display, which is awesome. It's a lot more intricate and a lot more transparent than just having 3 LEDs, CPU, memory, VGA, right? Which is still better than nothing on the last board, right? It doesn't work, and it's definitely the CPU issue, but we don't know. It's kind of blind, right? The CPU is warming up, but nothing on the display, and we're working blind. So for those boards, we need a postcard. This is the equivalent of the postcard, so it's really nice. I will, what am I gonna do with this one? I will try to boot it to Windows, and we'll see what happens. To boot it to Windows, let's use, I'm gonna use NVMe, because this is most likely NVMe, not SATA. B keyed or AB keyed. So let's connect it. So what I'm gonna use is NVMe from Surface Pro. I should have Windows installed on this, if I remember correctly. So let's try to connect it maybe to this one. So what's gonna happen? Let's see. Oh, but I do need some keyboard. I'm gonna use my keyboard that was dedicated to my work machine, which I haven't sent back to the employer yet. something that I need to do. But they didn't really send me the, what do you call it, the address where to send it, or usually they send you a label, the shipping label, and you just put it in the box, slap the label on, and ship it off. That's that's so far my experience. But this company, at least so far, I don't know. I just signed yesterday. I just signed a severance agreement. Interestingly, it only it said that if you sign this, you have to send back the the computer. Meaning, like, if I didn't sign it, can I keep the computer? And it would be of no use to me anyways, because it is, you know, cloud managed. So okay, it says getting devices ready, getting ready. That is interesting. So we're booting to Windows basically. It will reboot, right? Yeah, it's rebooting because it's completely new device now that it's being run on. So this was actually comparable. This is i5 6th generation. Now we got i3 6th generation. And welcome, Raf. Take a look at that. We are loaded into Windows. The fan is speeding up, and there's no wireless connectivity here. I don't see the antenna connector, so there's no onboard Wi-Fi card, and there's no port for onboard Wi-Fi card, which is kind of a bummer, because I kinda like having that option. Those cards are not really expensive. Oh, and one thing that I forgot to mention, the board is dual BIOS. I have no idea what that means, but I do see 2 BIOS chips on the board, so that's probably what it means. We actually have 2 BIOS chips. What for? Why would you need 2 BIOS chips? My only guess at the moment is that the BIOS is huge and 16 megabytes is not enough. It needs 32 megabytes. Oh, I got PC health check here. Let's see if we can run it. I gotta dismantle my work area, I guess. I don't know what to do yet. It doesn't look like I'm gonna find a job anytime soon, so I kinda don't need it. Okay, we got 77 gigs free. Windows update, blah blah blah. Okay, more okay, I guess this is nothing that I can actually use, but next step will be to put the board in the box in the tower, install everything properly, because right now it's kind of all over the place. I have 2 Fury 8 gigs each, so 16 gigs of RAM. That is kind of like minimum nowadays. I am using 16 on this machine that is recording right now, but I do find myself sometimes being kind of low on memory. So 16 is kind of like a minimum nowadays. 32 would be a lot more adequate, but also a lot more expensive. And these boards, I'm not sure about this one, but it goes at least to 64 gigs. I don't think it goes any higher than that, but that's usually the cap on on these boards. 64 gigs of RAM, I think that's, at the moment, I don't think you would need any more than 64 gigs. Especially since, I don't know, it's non-ECC memory. I did get, that was back when I still had a job, I got an ECC memory to test that Z170, which didn't see the memory. It reads the CPU, but no memory. And I was thinking, right, I reflashed the BIOS on it, so I have to reflash it back to the original one, because turns out you do have, if you download the BIOS from the website, you do need to clean it, meaning it doesn't have everything. So you do need the original BIOS and just replace the BIOS region, keeping the ME region and all the other regions intact. Which is kind of unfortunate, because if you have a corrupted BIOS, then you won't be able to decompress it. So I don't know, I would expect that the BIOS that I download from the manufacturer is clean BIOS that I can just flash onto the chip and the board should work. That would be my expectation, but I've been advised in the comments that you most likely need to actually use the fit and decompress it, replace the region, and build it again and then flash it, which is understandable. That's what I do on the laptops, on Surface Pros, right? If you just reflash the BIOS from different machine, the touch will not work ever. And you know, the machine can only be the stationary machine, but only that one thing won't work. The rest of the computer will work just fine. I do have the Surface Pro 7 that I need to rip the BIOS and send it over to one of our viewers that is waiting for it. It's on my list, no worries. You will get it, I promise. It's just, I know, I have kind of a different priorities right now, if you know what I mean. All right, let's turn it off. Finally, we have some success, because lately, as you have seen, the majority of my boards that I work on do not want to cooperate with me. This one is the first. So I will do some more work on this one. And I guess today I will just look for new listings, new job offers that I haven't applied to yet. Wish me luck, because it looks like I'm gonna need it. Looks like I'm gonna need like more than ever before. Well, thank you guys very much for watching, and I guess I will see you tomorrow. Day 3 today.